Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, bringing you some more StarCraft commentary, and this time it is going to be quite the treat. It is the Pro League Grand Finals between SK Telecom 1 and KT Rolster. This should be downright epic and amazing, with two of the greatest teams in StarCraft history fighting once more in the finals. This is actually going to be the fourth time, oh no, this will be the fifth time that they have ever met in a final series of a team league, winners league, pro league, whatever you want to call it. And right now SKT has the lead, 3-1, so we'll see if KT can start closing that gap just a little bit more. Most recently, in fact, SKT took down KT in the winners league just a couple months ago, but before that, last year's grand finals for the pro league actually went to KT Rolster. So there we go. That's the last two times they have met, and before that, it was a long time ago when the teams were much younger and much different, so they have a little less relevance. But certainly the last two series, where the rosters have basically stayed the same, certainly have a lot of relevance. And in that last winners league finals, if you'll remember, S2 almost got an all kill, went 3 kills, got stopped by Flash, and then Bisu on Aztec with that great Zealot pressure took down Flash. So that was how that last series went down. But this game is going to be Fantasy for SK Telecom 1, starting up here in the top right in purple, going against Perfective, the Zerg for KT, in the bottom right in teal. And Perfective has really been playing a lot better recently. I mean, he's a rookie. He's a rookie, and you know, we haven't seen a lot from him, but he's really impressed over as he's gotten more game time, as he's gotten more play. He's really done quite well for himself, and yeah, he's definitely no slouch. I think he had an all kill or a 3 kill, a couple of them in winners league. He got a little less playing time during when we got back to standard league play for some reason, but overall I'd say he is definitely a quality competitor for KT Rolster. It does look like he's going for a 12 hatch here on Beltway, Neo Beltway. It's going to be Neo Beltway, I'm sure. And for Fantasy, it looks like we're going to see the standard 1 rack straight into expansion. So Fantasy for SKT1 coming off in the first set is definitely huge, because that means that they've already sent one of their 2 big guns, Fantasy and Bisu, making a 2-headed monster for SK Telecom 1. And in recent years, that has really been the dominating force in Pro League, is the fact that they have those 2 co-aces that aren't like the co-aces of STX when they were like Cal and Call, when both of them were pretty good, or they were both really good for a little while, but neither of them could beat, neither of them could beat BC, neither of them could beat Flash. So it was kind of like you have 2 aces, but you really have none, and that was kind of a problem for a team like STX. Well, for SKT, you've got 2 aces where both of them can go up against a player like Flash, can go up against a player like Jaedong or Stork, and feel confident in their ability to win because they've done it before. They can, they have, and I'm sure as they continue to play, those series, personal series, 1v1 series, will continue to go back and forth, because both of them are just so darn good. We see the scouting going down for both players right now. Fantasy sending out a second SCV scout, really wants to know what Perfective's doing, doesn't want to get caught off guard by something cheesy or anything like that, or a 9 pool even, something that you don't see very often anymore. So he sends out that second scout, scouting out the 12 hatch and seeing exactly what's going on for Perfective at the moment. On the other hand, Perfective did send his overlord, his first overlord, in the correct direction, so he knows what Fantasy is up to just about now. And there we go, in the crowd we've got some Korean high school love going on here. Usually they hide their faces and they're embarrassed, but these two seem perfectly okay with showing their love, which is beautiful and amazing. Congratulations. And there's a second Rex coming up here for Fantasy right now, is that first command center, well, second command center, depending upon how you look at it, finishes up. Now Fantasy, what is he going to be trying to do in this game? We do see him starting out here with that 2 racks, which means he is going to go bio at least to start. But Fantasy in the past has really struggled with his bio control, his medic marine control. He gets caught by lurkers a lot. Even Mutalisks tend to have a lot of success against Fantasy's Marines. For whatever reason, he has never been able to really get that bio control to the point where it can effectively take down mutas, keep his Marines clumped, keep them separated for when lurkers come by. Those have always been things that he's struggled with as a general rule. And so for that reason, we saw him invent a lot of mech play. You know, he is the inventor of that the Fantasy build, where he started with that Valkyrie and Goliath. It's that particular build in its early stages is no longer used, but there are variations of it that are still used, that particularly the mech play in general. We do have a lot of Zerglings out for Perfective right now. Maybe going to go for an attack here. He's spent a lot of money on these Zerglings. Going to go for a run by. There is a bunker there as well as 4 Marines. SCV is now coming off the line to try and protect this bunker, and that bunker is going to go down, but is there enough Marines and SCVs to stop these Zerglings from doing too much damage? It looks like just about all of the Marines have gone down. Just 2 Marines left. A lot of SCVs still off the line, trying to block this as well as they can. Just 2 Zerglings left. So for... So for all of that investment that Perfective got, he destroyed all of those Marines. But unfortunately, with just 2 Zerglings left, looks like he maybe got 1 SCV there. But in reality, not a whole lot left, and should not be able to do too much more damage here. But Perfective going to have a lot less drones as we move forward. A lot less drones. He's getting that Spire up, so he's going to be able to continue with some Muta attack. But as the game develops, as we... This attack really did not do that much. Granted, he's taken out the early Marines, but he's going to have to do a lot of damage with his Mutalisks in order to make up for the fact that his economy is not going to be where it should be. He's not going to be able to get that 3rd hatchery up as early as he'd like to. He's not going to be able to also get lurker aspect completed at an appropriate time that we usually see from the macro Zergs these days. We do have a couple Firebats, one Firebat and another one hiding a little bit, coming into the natural mineral line to just disrupt mining here, and he's going to be very successful in terms of disrupting mining, just causing some havoc and disrupting some mineral the mineral intake for Perfective here for a little bit. Perfective actually finds this other Firebat, so he's going to have none of that. 2nd Firebat sneaking in is going to take that down. Fantasy with a couple of turrets at his main mineral line, getting a couple more at his natural, actually lacking a lot in terms of turrets, and without that Marine numbers, that is something to watch out for. Behind that mineral line of his natural expansion, that is a great place for Zerg players to micro with their Mutalisk and try and do a lot of damage at the natural mineral line. So something to watch out for. And that Muta group is growing. It looks like there's maybe 6 or so Mutalisks. There are a couple of bunkers as well as some turrets. So you can see some hasty defenses being thrown up by Fantasy with those bunkers instead of just pure turrets that we normally see. So he's trying to actually keep those Marines alive. That's the goal right now. One of the things that you can do with Mutalisks is you can just keep your opponent's Marine count low, and if your Marine count of the Terran is low, it's very difficult for them to push out and attack that 3rd base that Zerg should normally be trying to get. Obviously that is delayed because he invested all in those links, but that's kind of what Fantasy was watching out for. He's getting all of these bunkers to protect some of those Marines, which is actually a kind of ingenious move. It's actually a pretty cool move. And we do see Fantasy just building tons and tons of turrets. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm just going from memory. I think he's going to build something like 10 turrets, which is just a ridiculous number. And that engineering bay actually being very wisely lifted and placed over there means that he will have vision of those Mutalisks behind that mineral line. And what happens is actually because the Mutalisks are going in and out of the vision of those missile turrets, when that floating building is not there, that's actually part of the reason that those Mutalisks are so effective behind that mineral line. It's a similar thing to like what you see on Medusa or even on, say, Andromeda. Those are some other maps that have similar features, and Othello, all of those maps have similar features where Mutalisks become very, very effective. And that right there is Hoja. With his golden hair, and I always think that he's got these like buggy eyes. I always say it, no one ever agrees with me, but I just think he has these like buggy eyes. It's not an insult. It's really not. It's just that they look to me. It's cool, actually. It's kind of cool. But he has a very distinctive look about him. Fantasy throwing up a 3rd Rex here, so continuing with his M&M here, and Perfective not looking to take a 3rd base, continuing with his Mutalisk production, constantly pumping, now mixing some Lings in as well. So looks like both players are going to stick here to mid-game tech and try and make a nice war here at this level. And Perfective trying to come in here, kind of keep that Marine count low, as I said before. That is going to be one of his big goals. And he's actually doing a pretty good job of it because those turrets aren't quite in perfect support. However, there are a lot of them. So every time those Mutalisks dart in just a little bit too far, it is does hurt him significantly. Those Mutalisks do have +1 weapons, as the announcers are pointing out, and they are becoming very, very effective at taking down Marines as we do develop the 2nd control group of Mutalisks, although it looks like some of the Mutalisks are starting to go down now to Marine and turret fire. Just bit by bit, he's losing some. Every time he swoops in here, it looks like he's losing about 1. So a lot of damage Mutalisk in that group. And Fantasy forced to land that engineering, but I don't think he was planning on sticking with with Bioplay forever, but it looks like he's kind of been forced into the situation where he doesn't have time to go for a factory and get Goliaths and those kinds of things. So he has to go Bio right now in order to defend against this hyper pressure play that Perfective is going for. Perfective trying to keep this up, trying to continue to take down Marines, but he is bleeding Mutalisk. He's absolutely bleeding Mutalisk. So that's, that is definitely a worry for him. He is keeping the Marine count low, but he's bleeding Mutalisk. He's not taking a third. It doesn't seem like he's droning up very hard or getting Lurker Tech. So as this draws on, this actually starts to play into Fantasy's hands. The longer this game goes on, as I mentioned before, the economy of Perfective is not going to be able to compete with the economy of Fantasy unless he's able to re-drone, and he hasn't been able to. He's been pumping so many Mutalists trying to keep the pressure on, and yeah, just has not had the time to get a third base. Look at that mineral line. It's just not even one per mineral patch at the natural expansion. So really struggling with his economy saturation right now. Now we got some Lings coming in here with the Mutalist. So he's going to go for a little bit of a bust here. Actually going to go for this bunker that doesn't have anything in it. So that explains a lot, actually, why that bunker wasn't taking down a whole lot more before. But here comes some Marines to try and clear out these Zerglings. They are going to be able to do so. And Mutalist continuing to try and take down the Marines and doing a fantastic job. It's just a back and forth little game here where Fantasy has basically lost the entire map, but Perfective has not taken it. While Perfective has the map, he hasn't taken it. If that makes any sense at all in your head, it should. He has the map, he has map control, but he hasn't taken it. He hasn't taken bases, he hasn't positioned forces everywhere. Those kinds of things that generally mean that you've taken the map and are really dominating it. But he does have control, technically. He has cornered Fantasy into this corner, which is, of course, always a positional advantage. Fantasy with +1 weapons finished from that landed engineering bay will be able to start taking down Mutalisk even faster than before, and you can see them now. They are just starting to melt. We saw like 3 or 4 Mutalisk actually go down very quickly there. So I think this Mutalisk build is actually going to start failing now. The Marines just doing too much damage for the Mutalisk to stay cost effective even with their +1 weapons. Unless he's going to get +1 armor and that starts to kick in, that's going to be a problem. And Bisu starting to get a cheer a little bit here, starting to get a little happy. I think that he recognizes, as do we all, that this game could be coming to a close simply because Perfective cannot possibly keep this up. This is too much to ask for a Zerg player to keep this up without the economy. And Best even looks, Best looks a little bit more worried, but I think overall he's pretty happy. The factory was floated away as the starport is starting to get built. I'm going to start pumping towards that science vessel tech, I believe. And now the Mutalisk coming in here trying to pick off the missile turrets, actually pick off 2-3 missile turrets. And yeah, there's Flash looking kind of concerned. And Perfective coming in here with another batch of Mutalisk. Going to go for all of the missile turrets. He might be able to take them all down. Yes, he does. There's one left, but the Marines do come back into play. And with 4 racks now, the Marines are going to start growing in number again. But every time I say that, it just looks like the Mutalisk are able to keep that count just low enough. And so this game just going back and forth. Fantasy's efficient defense trying to hold off the aggressive attacks from Perfective, and one SCV building a turret goes down, but the second one does manage to finish that turret, and we do have an armory complete as well with that starport. So he is going to start going Valkyrie, and Fantasy with his Valkyries, he probably has that awesome patrol micro that the Valkyries do down, where they start shooting and they actually almost like glitch back just a few paces, and that little difference actually makes it that much harder for Mutalisk to dive in there and pick off the Valkyries. And same for Scourge, which, by the way, there's just no way that that Perfective has had the money to spare to spend on some Scourge here. He's still sitting on those 2 bases, 2 hatcheries, and yeah, still just trying to keep the pressure. But once that Valkyrie comes out, and especially once the second Valkyrie comes out, there's the first Valkyrie. Once the second Valkyrie comes out, this could very well just be plain GG. Like, what is Perfective going to do with when a couple of Valkyrie volleys come his way? He's got to be very careful. Here comes one Valkyrie volley, and the Mutalisk's going to try and pick off the Valkyrie. And you saw the little glitch micro there, where he actually got the shots off, and that is going to basically destroy Perfective. And Fantasy building a command center, a proxy command center. He hasn't even gone on the attack. He hasn't even actually attacked Perfective at all, but he realizes it's over, and Perfective realizes it too. A proxy factory when you haven't even attacked your opponent yet. He hit 0 drones. He didn't even attack the hatchery. He didn't get one shot off on a single building, and Fantasy goes victory celebration. That was awesome. Fantasy, that was absolutely awesome. We're just building that proxy command center. That was great. So good game by Fantasy, winning set 1 for SK Telecom 1. They will take a 1-0 series lead over KT Rolsha, with Perfective unable to maintain his aggression well enough to get a victory. And here we go. What's this victory celebration going to be? Looks like we've got a potato gun or something loaded, probably with t-shirt or 2, like what you see at some sporting events. They come out there. Oh, and he's got a friend to shoot out with him. And there we go. There's a pretty girl for Fantasy to shoot t-shirts with. So shoot a couple of those into the crowd as a prize. But we are going to head on to set 2. We will see who it'll be playing in set 2. This should be very, very fun and continue the epicness of this entire series. I will see you guys all in the next set.